Namaskar. I'm Kumar Rakesh and you're watching Global Governance News. Just we're going to discuss today religion and development. How religion is important as well as development is also important. If you see that there is so many organizations working on that. Over the past years, the new interdisciplinary and dynamic research field on religion and development has emerged. A growing corpus of literature has begun to investigate the manifold relationships and interactions of religion and development, and the cross-disciplinary uh, interest, and also just anthropology, sociology, politics, economics, and development. So it seeks to contribute the religion development research field by the just to publish to all the things and just for the interdiscipline. And religion development, when understood in a wide sense, religion encompasses all forms of religious institutions, communities, networks, scenes, and uh, if you see like that, uh, uh, cultures, phenomena. Development refers to manifold processes of social, economic, ecological, political, and cultural dynamics in all parts of the world. One core frame of reference are the Sustainable Development Goal, as we have adopted 2015 by United Nations, and this is the goal of the 15 years to develop the all global village we are talking about. And overarching questions are, for example, how religious communities contribute to the processes of sustainable development, not development, sustainable development, and how social and economic, ecological, political, and cultural dynamics affect religion, and what understandings and notions of this development, as we can say, we'll say the sustainable development exists in religious communities. And as all, if you see like that, so you know, it's depend on the follower of every religions are trying to show the superiority of the religions. Every religion has own concepts but is regarded but the goal of spiritual life in terms of the approach, the religious practices may based on the faith, fear, rationality, and harmlessness. And given such the wide variety of approaches, interpretations, and goals of different religions adopted by mankind, it is useful for people not to hold a dogmatic view but about the religion, but to open to the tolerant of the religious view. And as you know, our Sanatan Hindu religion, dharmas, is the oldest and the this is the Sanatan, an ancient one. It's, I think, parents of the all religions, and from where all religions just uh, already formed with their faith and new faith of an ideology. And if you see religion not the subject of the bargaining, one should not change one religious or the personal and material gains happening. Religion is to be used for the spiritual development and for self-salvation. Religion of goodwill is based on the sacrifice and service for the welfare and happiness of others. I think this is I think overall just that's it we can say what the religion just teaches us for the live a happy life, a peaceful life, and the blissful life. So we have today Vandana Jinganji from the Chicago, serial journalist and social activist, and Mr. Nandaji
Namaskar.
Ambule is also is technocrat and social activist, are working on all the religion and development with so many projects for the Indo-American.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year to you all audience and all the participants, speakers.
Nandaji, I think we lost
No,
Rakesh.
no, I think
Okay.
just a switch of button. That's one. Thank you. Thank you, Vandanaji. Carry on, please.
Nandaji, you want to go first or you want me to go first?
Yeah, ladies first. Please go ahead. I don't
Let's
want
start
to
with
take
Krishna.
that
Nay.
first part.
This lady is done. We all compliment each other. Nobody's first, whosoever,
Yeah.
So, namaskar. And as we are getting into 2022, this is the first show of Global Governance News of the new year. I didn't say first show. This is the actually second one. You did something on the first.
Yeah.
Yesterday was a break.
Yeah.
And Happy New Year. And I always say, wishing this new year with 4 P's: peace, prosperity, progressiveness, as well as pandemic free year for you and yours from all of us right here. And you brought a very, on the first show of this year, you brought a very important and significant subject, because we are talking about the development. Religion has a role to play, but when we talk about the development, and you combine like religion, development, and because development, who does the governance is responsible for the development. But then when they do commitments to a particular religion, that becomes appeasement. And that doesn't take you anywhere. We say, I'm saying it with an experience, we fall prey. It should not be, because religion is a very personal thing. It should not be brought together for any nation, for any state, for any society, or for any municipality. These things should be kept aside. We don't even see, one is east and one is west, that way. And we can progress very well. But when we bring this, and normally this is happening, this is a lot of polarization which is happening, and the aftermath of that is very, very, it's heart-wrenching, to be honest, what we see. That why individual community, why individual religion should be over each other. If you are living in a nation where it is, let's talk about the context of Bharat, and being, they call it as a secular on paper. And so are we treating everybody equally? Let this be, because Prime Minister has called for it, sabka saath, sabka vikas, sabka, and now he added Vishwas and Prayas also. So the Prayas is, the governance was doing all these things. Now the Prayas has to be from the individuals also, because it is the responsibility of the voters also. And so I feel, this is my personal feeling, because religion does play a role, but that is personal. It should not be with the governance. And on the context of development, when you're talking about, there is one individual, particular religion, they are developing so very fast, many fold, only on the sake of population. So that is very dangerous when we are seeing is the fastest growing religion, so that is also a development. We were 2%, now we are 30% kind of thing. So that is development. So that kind of development is uneven. What are you contributing for the growth? So coming back to, so as I said that, and I'm going to stress again, because religion is a private, personal thing, and the development is for the community, for the society, for the nation.
Okay, thank you, Vandanaji. And Nandaji, just as Vandanaji just share her view, the religion is personal thing and the development for the community and the for social development. Do you agree with that one? And how just to interpret the relation between religion and development? And as well as just welcome Alok Laharji from
Yes.
Spain.
Thank
So
you.
just for this show.
Yeah, thank you, Rakesh ji. How many minutes I have?
Just a three to 4 minutes.
Okay. Thank you. Oh. So let me again. I agree some of the points what Vandana ji raised. At the same time, I have some comprehensive and additional to add. Let's start with the basics first. A religion. What is a foundation or a definition of a religion? It doesn't matter. Whatever religion anybody choose, it's a personal choice. But the fundamental definition or the procedure or process is, basically, it starts with believing or idolizing or worshipping or praying some superhuman above you, or if you don't believe in superhuman, then it's universe. So as an individual, in our Sanskrit, Paramatma and Atma, basically we believe that every individual has a divine power in themselves, and that divine power must be connected to the universal divine power. So whether you follow a religion A or B or C, that's a personal choice, no doubt about it. But the concept is to bring the peace inside and then peace around you, and peace around, if all 7.7 billion people are peaceful inside and out, then it's a world peace. So the process of any development, the concept of religion, actually you can take the concept and apply to the projects or apply to the development. But again, you don't want to get into, follow this A versus B versus C. You follow any religion, it has to promote peace, it has to promote equality, it has to promote human values and development. Any destruction propaganda or by the religious leaders or religion itself should be eliminated, because thousands of years back all these scripts are written for whatever reason. But I believe, as Sanatana Dharma being a Sanatana Dharma and Hinduism follower, so we should respect. There are 8.7 million living beings, not only human are only 7.7 billion, but there are 8.7 million different type of animals and plants living on this planet. So we have one line in our Sanatana Dharma, Samastha Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. With that one line, you can cover these 8.7 million living beings.
Sarve Sukhino Bhavantu, Sarve Santu Niramaya. Yeah.
To pray for, every day, it doesn't matter what language, what religion you follow, you just say this once. And sound is a vibration, life is a vibration, and this sound vibration can cure anything, including cancers. So the point is, development, the religion should lead for a development. A religion should not lead a destruction. That's number one differences. Any religion can lead development, whether it is a human lifestyle projects or plants or even ecosystem ecology we have. So everything we have to go as a one unit. It's not like we are, especially in this pandemic times, we are nobody believes that every human is connected. With pandemic is the best example. Every human life is interconnected, So unless you cure one person, the other people in that community are not safe, So that is proven again and again. This has been written 10,000 years ago in Rig Veda. What Rig Veda is written 10,000 years ago, we are experiencing in our lifetime, this pandemic. Thank God, it has brought so many good things, and obviously we lost 4 million people, 5 million people. No disrespect for the lives lost. Nobody is going to survive alive in this planet. Everybody has to pass on. Fittest will survive here. That's the bottom line. The point is, religion should promote development. The development has to be, either solving a food crisis or solving a healthcare crisis or solving an educational crisis or solving something which will help the individual city, state, country to develop to the next level. That's what I believe in. You take the practice of religion and apply those values in the development of your own community or own country. That's what I think.
Okay. So just elaborate, you say, Alok ji, how just Nanda ji and Vandana ji, just say, the Vandana ji saying the religion is a personal thing and the development for the communities, and the communities should do. One. Nanda ji say religion should promote the development. Okay. So just correlative things. How do you analyze the the big word for the global society?
Good evening, Kumara KG and fellow panelists and our viewers. Religion and development. But it's something similar to religion, politics, and development. So now the question is religion not part of the development? I mean, if we're talking about a sound mind and a sound body, you cannot have a sound mind without having, a sound thought. And who gives you this sound thought? It has to be the religion. So now, in case you're doing development can be anything. What are you going to develop? That's the question. So if the development is for people, then it has to have the right direction. And then moral values which the religion gives to you will only determine the direction of the development. Let's say if tomorrow we say, no, we want to develop firearms, we can sell it to the world because it's a multi-trillion-dollar industry. We are actually promoting the destruction of the world. We like it or we don't like it. We'll be making a lot of money, but at the end of the day, but in case you say, no, we will go to Africa and let's say we want to set up a factory which will give employment to, 100,000 people. So now that is development in the right direction because it is moved by certain principles. So development cannot be independent of a principled thought. That's the whole idea. Now, for example, any of you who has been to Varanasi over all these years, you would have realized that the excess of the whole Varanasi city, which is the oldest city in the world, that's the reason I'm giving you that example. The center of the city is not the center. It is the Ganges, the Ghats, and Kashi Vishwanath temple. Now, in case Kashi Vishwanath temple and its surroundings are not developed, the rest of the city is meaningless. Because everything, be it the railroad, be it the airport or the bus station, everything is going to go in the same direction. So unless you develop that part, there was this question asked why this development starts off in Kashi Vishwanath. So this is religiously moved. But the religion moves everything there. You have to understand that. In case the excess, the big theme, the nucleus of the city is not nourished, we've always said in Europe that all roads lead to Rome. Why? Because Rome had the Vatican City. What is Vatican City? Is a religious center only, no? And another thing is that the capital of Europe was Rome only. Because when we talk about all the civilization in Europe, we are only talking about the Roman civilization. Even the languages, let's say French is a Neo-Latin language, Latin being the language of the Romans. Or today we call them Italy, but in those days it was Rome only. So one cannot go without the other. It has to go hand in hand. And in case the interest is, development for the people, then you'll have to keep all these things in mind because one cannot exist without the other. And when we talk about separating the religion from politics or from development, this normally happens when you have a lot of, religions, and certain religions, they are in minority. The moment those religions become majority, then they don't talk about this separation at all. I mean, for example, let's say the city, the country I'm living in, or even if you see, United States of America, it very clearly says in God we trust. So the moment you mention God, it means that some kind of religion is there. Or let's say, isn't this true that the only country which is absolutely Catholic, and it has got international bifurcations and the protocol also, the head of Vatican City gets the title of a president. Isn't that true? So what is this? This is religion only. No? So you cannot curtail one from the other. It is impossible. I mean, when you're taking a pledge and you're putting your hand on Bhagavad Gita or the Bible or whatever, then obviously you're talking about religion. And this cannot be subtracted. I don't think in the human society you can subtract. And especially, they talk about, no, religion should not be there. But it is everywhere. It's everywhere. I mean, if you come to Europe, you go to United States of America, without religion, nothing happens in political life or in development or whatever you want to call it. So it sounds very nice, especially in India, when you say, no, we have to subtract religion and it should be secular and it should be like this. But normally when people are saying this, they have their vested interest so that they are unable to, in case this is applied, then they can push their own thought and their religious process. Tell me one thing. In India, and with that I will end, did Islam come to India without any religious leader, a political leader leading it? Or did Christianity come to India just because it landed up there and there was no political force behind it? And they can say that we were developing. In fact, they said we were here to, or let's say these people, they went to Latin America. They wanted to, in a way, we were barbarians and they came to civilize us. And the fact remains that after the civilization, when they went back, in 47, the per capita, how do you call it? The literacy rate, not per capita, the literacy rate was only 13%. And only now we have crossed 50 odd percent. So, this is all relative. I think it's an eye watch when they say, no, we should be doing something like this.
Okay, so sorry, actually, just the time of break, and without announcing.
Carry on with your break, please.
Yeah. So just stop the break, and I'll take the Alokji. We'll have a break. Alok, just you're saying that just how the religion and the development, and there's a correlative term and otherwise also. So just Vandanaji, if you say if you talk in the religion and in other way, despite the religion is if you think like the religion the approaches the religious practices with the faith, fear, rationality, or harmlessness. And this religion cause effect based on the principle of self-help and assumes the individual alone is responsible for his own happiness and suffering as well as salvation. Religion of wisdom is based on the application of reason and seeks to understanding life and reality of worldly conditions through analytical knowledge. And harmlessness and goodwill are common elements found in religions. A religion of peace is based on the principle of causing no harm to oneself as well as others, and its followers also cultivate a harmonious, liberal, and peaceful life. A religion of goodwill is based on the sacrifice and service for the welfare and happiness of others. So many good things are there. So a religion differs according to understanding capacity of their followers also, and the interpretation which religious authorities give to the religious doctrines and practices. Every religion offers religion to explain the existing human problems and inequalities and way to remedy a situation. How do you think which religion is the best one? Whatever, I think there are 22 religions in the world at present nowadays. And how do you define it?
Namaskar again. As you did mention 22 religions around the world, there must be many sects also.
Main focus.
Yeah, and many sects. We know that.
Yeah.
When we go to the ancient times, how these religions have been, when they came, like we all know that, let this be Christianity, let this be Buddhism, let this be Islam. There is an organization, Parliament of World Religion. They meet, I think, every 4 years, and they talk about and that is a presence of all the people from various different religions and sects. Nobody talks about go kill them and do this, but they are the bunch of people, those who are trying to preach that. But what has been the impact of it, to be very honest, over a period of time? We are seeing more and more polarizations. And as we all know, I come from the city called Chicago, where Swami Vivekananda came and spoke on Parliament of World Religion in 1893. This is still, so it's still going on, but that has not, are they able to, because that was formed on one basis that we can bring the world together, peaceful and all. But what has happened in the last 100 years? What has happened in the last 50 years? What has happened in the last 20 years? We are seeing more and more unrest in the world. Because let this be 9/11, let there be 26/11, or many 11s that we have been seeing it. So why it is so? Because if they are coming as a spokesperson, they are talking about it. So when I'm saying, if we keep the religion as a private and the development, I somewhat agree to Alokji that this cannot be, and that's what I said. But what I'm saying, religion has to be practiced on my own, but it should not be merged with the governance part of it. Because otherwise it becomes an appeasement, and then किसी का साथ हो जाता है और किसी का विनाश हो जाता है. सबका साथ because that one has to realize it. Because how could you be giving some specific promotions, I should say, or some specific gift before the elections to some particular. I'm not talking about because it has never happened in the elections that we are giving it to in Bharat's context, the financially weaker section. We have some reservations, and then what is happening? Then there are other castes being added. So what is happening? So you're not seeing people equally, to be honest. That's
Okay.
what, that is what where it is like my take is, because if we keep it, if we really want to go for the growth and the development, and whosoever is coming on the platform, if somebody is an elected official, they should do their dharma. If somebody is an appointed official, law enforcement, because where they don't do their duty on the means, we are seeing it like, you have taken, everybody takes an oath of means pledge of allegiance to the profession that they come for, like they've been elected or appointed or selected. But do they follow that? Because then if the religion is overtaking that, then it misses the boat, I mean.
Okay. So just your own view, just the religion should be the active and proactive, personal thing, but should be just for the development. And Nandaji, if you see the distortion of religions from society, despite the value of religion, the moral upliftment, it is true to say that religion is a fertile soil for development of superstition and the devotional hypocrisy, wrapped under the cloak of literacy. Somebody claim, many people use religion to escape from the realities of life. This is maybe thoughts of the different people and put on the garb of religions and religious symbols. They may even pray every often the place of worship, but they're not sincerely religious minded and may not understood what religious stands for. When religion has deviated from ignorance, greed of power, and selflessness, and the people point and accusing finger and say religion is irrational. Before one citizen, one must study the original teaching of the founder and see there is anything interestingly wrong with it. Religion advises people to do good and be good, but they are not interested in acting that. What's problem in that? Why they do like that? Unmute yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great point. What you just said, Rakeshji. So the main thing
Yeah.
here is any religion. So basically, we are connected to our supreme soul. Whether that's some religious, as a religious follower, you believe your God or your supreme soul is your God basically. And if you don't believe in any God, then it's universe. So the point is, like when we connect our soul to a super soul, there are different processes. It can be a chanting a name of God, or doing some prayer in based on Christian faith, Islamic faith, or other faiths. But the point is, it all it is trying to do is get a discipline in a human body or human mind. So
Yeah.
if you have that discipline in that human mind, then automatically, when that foundation discipline is there, then you don't see the differences between religious, or you don't try to exploit, or you don't appease one religion or other. So you try to get to a point, where growth will become natural and automatic. So whereas when, for whatever reason, if I am trying to put my ego above my thought, and my religion is better than other religion, or my God is better than other God, whether
Yeah.
when you get this kind of discussions, then obviously that will lead to destruction and downfall basically. So the point is, like I see that interconnection between religion and development, and that can come only when you have any religion you follow. It should get your discipline. Let's say I have 1% or 10% discipline yesterday, that should raise by 1% today, because of whatever half an hour, 10 minutes, or 1 minute prayer I did. That should improve me every day, and that should develop my discipline and mindset and peace inside me. When it automatically does inside me, then obviously I'll radiate the same thoughts and same actions around me, within me, and that's how this is all connected. So the point is, unless we make sure, again, there are some one liners or one words which can interpret it in a wrong ways, but the bottom line is everybody want to promote peace, promote love, promote growth. So that is nothing but development in different forms. and whatever it is today, it has to grow by 1% in a right direction. But like Alokji mentioned, if you try selling arms and nuclear weapons, yeah, it's a millions and billions dollar business. If it gets into a wrong hands, then it can kill million people in a fraction of seconds. So how, at the same time, we need to make sure we need to have enough controls. Again, the governance is separate, I agree, but at the same time, the discipline what a religion gives an individual will give them the physical strength, mental strength, and knowledge. And obviously, their ego can be kept aside, and they can connect their soul to the supreme soul. If somebody can achieve that, then obviously they can do miracles and they can do anything, any kind of development.
So just to talk about the spiritual, I think moral development, Nandaji, I think without a spiritual background, no man has moral responsibility. And man without moral responsibility poses to the danger of society, according to my view. And it is also said that spiritual development of man is more important than the development of the material welfare. And history also taught us that we can't expect to gain both worldly happiness and everlasting happiness at the same time. So the lives are more, the most people are generally regulated by the spiritual values and the moral principles, which only religion can effectively provide. A religion tells us what to do, what not to do. If we don't follow religion sincerely, mere religious labels or belief in God do not serve us in our daily life, or whatever religious differences we have. It is our duty to practice tolerance, patience, and understanding. And it is also our duty to respect the other's man, harmonious and peaceful living, as religions taught us, and merely to believe that there is someone to wash away our sins and without suppressing our evil state of mind is not the accordance with the religion, teaching of religion. And the paradise is open not only for the followers of the particular religion, as we understand what I'm saying, but it is also open to each and every person who leads a righteous and noble way of life. So there are some people who go from house to house trying to convert other religions into their faith and promising them heaven that they carry in the bags. And they claim they are only blessed people who can go to heaven. They also claim they have the exclusive opportunity to send others the same goal. They introduce their religion to like a patent medicine. And this has become the nuisance to the public today. So many innocent people who lack the knowledge to their own religion have become victims of their paradise sellers. How just you react, Alokji, with the all interpretation? How just I shared it with you?
No, you yourself mentioned what the whole idea is about. So, in case you are in a country where it is multi-ethnic or multi-religious,
my question is paradise seller. What about the paradise sellers also? What are they claiming?
That's what I'm telling you. Then religion and politics should not mix, and religion and development should not mix. So basically, if we just see it in a broader perspective, there are two original thoughts. In fact, there should be three original thoughts. And the two or the three original thoughts are, on one side, we have the Sanatan, we have the Indic religions from which the other religions like Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, and other religions, they spring up. And then we have the Judaism, the Abrahamic religions, from where we can call them reforms, because Buddhism is nothing but a reform into the Hindu, thought process. So let's say there was some kind of degeneration or he didn't like that process. So it is kind of a reform which he proposes within the four walls of Hinduism. And same thing happens in the Abrahamic, these religions as well. So you have Christianity on one side and you have Islam, but the basic thought comes from, so basic two religions are these. And then we have this gentleman who, when we talked about religion, that, they are talking about that it is kind of an escape route or something like this. So I have to mention Karl Marx there. And he is mostly used, there is a part of the phrase which they use and they say, religion is the opium of the masses. But the whole line says, religion is the sigh of the oppressed creatures, the heart of the heartless world, and the soul of the soulless conditions. It is the opium of the masses. So what they're not telling you is what the first part Karl Marx said. He clearly says, religion is the side of the oppressed. So it is a relief which they have if they are oppressed in any way. Now, how did this oppression start? That is the question. So when you discover America, did Columbus go there alone? Or did he take some religious fellow who went there, and the sword was made in form of a cross that either you accept Christianity, or either you accept, cut off your head, or you accept, Christianity. And similar things have also happened when the expansion happens. So all the world religion, you were talking about 22 religions. I was under the impression that there are more than 1,000 religions. We can talk about Shintoism, or we can talk about Chinese religion, like even Confucianism is there. But if you see all these religions, there are only two religions which have been directly related to expansionism. And they have two terms which are very similar. One is, let's say we call it jihad. So this is of later origin. And then what did the Christians do when they went to Latin America to, convert people? So they have their crusades. So what is the difference between a crusade and a jihad? To my knowledge, there is no difference. I mean, you were forcing people to take your thought.
And
on top of it, you're telling those people, we have come here to, develop you because you are, the people who don't know, you don't have any culture and all that. So keep your culture to yourself. We don't need, you didn't even know how to count. Are you coming to tell us that we have come here to develop you? You did not. You did not know that these 10 fingers can make you count till trillions. So the development part is, I think it's a hoax. When they come and tell you that no, religion has to be separated from this, it has always been part and parcel of the human society. You have used one for the benefit of the others, or the other for the benefit of the one. But when you are in a minority in some place, then you say, no, this should not be mixed. We should be secular and all that. You tell me, out of the 55 Islamic states, or I don't know how many Christian states are there, because these are the top two religions, followed by Hinduism and Buddhism. How many of them are secular states? They never talk about secularism. It could be largely practiced out there. But is it not true that within the same country, even let's say, we talk about United States of America, we talk about Canada, the bigger countries and the richer countries, or in Europe, is this not true that the church has privileges which other religions don't have? This is a fact. Is it not true that in the Islamic world? And then we can talk about development, but development of what? What are you developing there? They came here telling us we are going to develop you. What did they develop? They didn't develop anything. In case they made the railroad, which everybody, the certain types of historians have been telling us that in India, when the British came, they developed the railroads, and they went even to the remotest villages to loot you till your depths. Some of the worst famines which happened in the history of mankind, they happened in the British India. And they happened in the name of, civilizing others and, coming and converting you into something better, which they did not. On the contrary. So by the time the British had left, I think Glasgow and if we talk about London, how many billions of pounds had they? In fact, the figure goes up to more than 10 trillion pounds, which they had robbed from us. So yes, it was development for them. What was it for us? That's the question.
So we can say
Vandana ji, what happens to her is that she is very utopian and she likes to say these ideas. No, we should not. It should not happen like this. But the undercurrent is something else. On the top, they tell you something, and at the bottom, they're doing something else.
Okay. So just we see the religions in scientific age also, the calls religion without science is crippled, while science without religion blind. If the religion of freedom, if you say there is no religious freedom in part of the world today, man has not the freedom even to think freely. Whenever he realizes he can't find satisfaction through the own religion in which he belongs, which cannot provide him satisfactory answer to certain questions, he also knows what he to give it up to accept another which appeals to him. regions of the religious authorities, leaders, family members have taken that freedom away from him. It is also a matter of concern. And if you see how the Emperor Ashoka respected and supported every religion at the time, his tolerance toward other religions was remarkable. One of his script in the stone Ashoka pillars, and is still standing today in Bharat, says one should not honor only one's own religions and condemn the religion of others, but one should honor other religions for this or that reason. And in so doing, one helps own religion to grow and renders service to the religions of others too. In acting otherwise, one digs to grave's own religion and also does harm to other religions. Whosoever honors own religions and condemns other religions does so indeed through devotion to his own religion, thinking, I'll glorify my own religion. But on the contrary, in so doing, the injures his own religions more gravely, and so concord is good. Let's all listen with a willing to listen the doctrines professed by the others. And man has forgotten that he has heard, he forgets what he treats the world kindly, the world will treat him kindly in returns, as we think the karmas. And time has come for wise people to separate religions from the dogmatic and superstitions. Otherwise, the God name of religion will polluted and numbers of non-believers will be increased. But time is changing and the whole believers is growing, and thus with the respect to all religions. So as Vandanaji says, religion is the personal things, but it was used for society. And Nandaji said religion promotes development, and Alokji said no, that should be in the comprehensive way for the overall development. So nice of you. You joined the show with the all inputs and all thinking and thoughts. Let us just think for the global society, for religion and development should go together for the overall humanity. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Jai Hind. Thank you. Namaste.